Look around you right now. The pressure of the chair against your back, the rich roasted smell of morning coffee, the vividness of the room. This immediate, undeniable experience of being awake and alive is the single most familiar thing you know. And yet, it remains the greatest unsolved mystery in modern science. We know billions of neurons are firing in your brain to process all that sensory data, but mapping those electrical impulses doesn't explain the feeling of the experience. It doesn't explain why the pain of a stubbed toe, or why red looks red. This chart shows the language of physics and chemistry. Numbers, frequencies, equations, everything here is measurable. But on the right, you have human experience, the sharp intensity of pain, or the vibrant splash of a color. These are qualities, not quantities. We have charted the physical mechanics of the brain with staggering precision.
But no matter how many equations you stack up, you cannot derive the taste of chocolate from the firing rate of a neuron. Science has hit an impenetrable wall. This roadblock occurs because of a deliberate design choice made exactly 400 years ago. When Galileo invented the modern scientific method, he realized sensory qualities like smell and color couldn't be captured by mathematics. To make it work, he did something radical. He declared these qualities belong only in the human soul, a realm strictly off-limits to physical science. By ignoring human experience, scientists could focus purely on measurable things like mass, size, and speed. That mathematical framework gave us physics, chemistry, and all the engineering marvels of the modern world. But we have forgotten that this was a tactical omission. Today, neuroscientists are attempting to explain consciousness using a framework built specifically to ignore it. To find a way out, we have to look closer at the physical world itself. If we zoom into the structure of an everyday object, past the molecules and atoms, we reach subatomic particles like electrons. We define an electron by its negative charge, its mass, and its spin. But those words only describe how it repels other charges or resists acceleration. Physics gives us a flawless description of how matter behaves, but it says absolutely nothing about what matter is internally. In the 1920s, the philosopher Bertrand Russell pointed out this massive blind spot. He realized that physics is simply a vast system of equations, a detailed map showing how different points relate to one another. Arthur Eddington reached the exact same conclusion. The equations trace the interactions of the universe perfectly, but they are silent on the intrinsic nature of the actual stuff that is doing the interacting. We assume physics gives us a complete picture of reality. Instead, it only gives us the outer shell. The internal life of matter remains a blank space in science. This brings us to a solution championed by philosophers like Philip Goff. We have two missing pieces. Consciousness doesn't fit into the physical equations, and matter has a gaping hole where its inner nature should be. Panpsychism suggests they are actually the same piece. This concept suggests that the most basic building blocks of the universe possess a primitive, elemental spark of experience. It's not that an electron is thinking about its day, but that it has a raw inner reality acting as the seed of consciousness. This idea faces a hurdle known as the combination problem. If every tiny particle has a microscopic fragment of experience, how do billions of them fuse to create the single, unified you? Stacking experiences isn't like stacking Lego bricks, but cosmopsychism flips the architecture. The universe is the primary conscious entity. Human minds are localized points where that singular whole has fragmented. Panpsychism acts as a logical, structural patch. It takes the subjective experience we know exists and weaves it into the incomplete framework of physics to complete our picture of the universe. For decades, the mainstream scientific narrative has told us that we are a cosmic accident. Stephen Hawking famously described humanity as chemical scum on the surface of a moderate-sized planet, a random glitch in a dead machine. But cosmologists have discovered that the foundational numbers of our universe, the strength of gravity, the mass of an electron, are balanced on a razor's edge. If you nudge any of these physical constants by a fraction of a percent, stars don't ignite, and life is mathematically impossible. If the universe possesses an inner life, it ceases to be a passive set of numbers. Goff proposes that a conscious entity might respond to the pull of value in the chaotic first moments of the Big Bang.
That primitive drive toward complexity could have tilted the physical constants toward the razor-thin margin where life becomes possible. This shift moves our moral compass. When we look at a forest, we are encountering a collection of experiencing subjects. Stripping a mountain or clearing an old-growth woods changes from a matter of resource management to a question of destroying millions of inner worlds. In this view, your consciousness is as fundamental to reality as gravity or mass. You are an aspect of the cosmic whole, a localized point where the universe's internal nature has become complex enough to look back at itself.